I respectfully welcome Venerable Ven.Bambalapitiye Gnanaloka Thero to Washington Vihara on behalf of Bhante Dhamma, who is at present in Sri Lanka. So we are very fortunate to welcome you here, Bhante. So we have our regular meditators who come for afternoon meditation in every Sunday, and there are others, Sri Lankan community also, who is participating now in this occasion. So we welcome all of you, and we are thankful to you, and give me a few minutes to introduce Venerable Bhante Gnanaloka Thero. He was born in Sri Lanka, and he then studied in the Trinity College in Kandy. After he emigrated to South Africa with his parents, where he encountered really the Buddhism, I think, and he changed his entire lifestyle in South Africa. And later he was ordained by Madi Panyasiya Nayaka Hamduru, who is the great founder of this temple too. Then he has practiced long time in the Himalaya, that's what I heard. And he has a lot of things to teach you. Thank you. And Mangitanne me Swamin Wahanse ගැන ඔබතුමාලා බොහෝ දෙනා දන්නවා ඇති. අපි උන්වහන්සේට ආරාධනා කරමු උන්වහන්සේගේ වැඩසටහන පටන් ගන්නට කියලා. බොහොම ගෞරවයෙන්.
It's important to find this particular happiness, independent from conditions, circumstances. You always have a good day. The good day is under your control. For this, a lot of people give introductions, but I want to give a very particular introduction of me. I don't know how it misses all the time. Of course, my father was working, he went to South Africa. It's funny, it might be funny, I found Buddhism in South Africa, right? Going from Sri Lanka, and then I had to find Buddhism in Sri Lanka. Yeah, it is true in a way. It's not that, you see, we have in our family, my mother is very religious, she practices the Dhamma. But it was like a religion, Of course, I really also was a little bit, I didn't like it also, because she used to force us to tell these long prayers when you're very small, when you want to pray. And it was really, you didn't get a good feeling about your religion. Of course, I was touched sometimes by certain stories of the Bodhisattva and the Buddha, connected with this compassion and things like that. But never got the idea that that was the way for me to really finally follow one day. So I was curious about, I was really long time I had this thirst to know what is going on. So it started with, I never forget, when I was a young boy, my father was connected with engineering and things, so he had designing boats. So I used to try to make, and I thought like, if you find a vehicle that goes with water, it's the best thing, the perfect thing. That means like complete your life, because water is so freely available. And that time my nirvana was to have a car which can just go on without problem of petrol, when I was very young. So then I called this project which I was involved when I was 8 or 9, not even, 9, 10 like that. I called it a non-stop machine. I'm going to make this non-stop machine. But I really didn't know that this was underlying, according to the tools I had at that time, this was the some perfection I was searching for. So, anyway, then it went to in Southern Africa, with all the, Southern Africa means Lesotho, I don't know if you know. Inside, it's a landlocked kingdom. Nobody knows that place, that's why I normally say Southern and South Africa. It's actually an independent landlocked kingdom, like Swaziland and Lesotho. So I was actually, we were there, and then my father's certain friends and all that, they involved me with physics. I got interested in physics, especially relativity of Einstein, and that really connected with, I was searching, reading the Bible, many other literature I was reading at that time. Then I came across one of my mother's teachings. It's regarding, not teachings, like sutras of the Buddha, where the Sakka, the king of gods, come to visit the Buddha. And there he explains, in that sutta it also explains the time, like 1,000 years on earth is one day there. And like that the other realms go on like that. I don't want to talk on this subject too much but I can tell heaven, this I used to, now I've been thinking all these things, and I was not studying. So finally I had to do some miracle to get my exams, to pass my exam. Those days we had IGCSE, and after 2 days it was English language and English literature paper. So in the night I focused through relativity. It was my own ways, that the existence of those spheres, those dimensions. And I see that it's like the passport visa, when you have the faith and don't doubt about those particular states, you're there, that's your visa to enter into that. So when I felt I was confident, mentally I was connected, then I knew those realms it's powerful. I could do whatever I would like to, or I could ask to do something. So there I had the past English language, English literature papers, and sort of approximated the English language, English literature, the essay title. So anyway, I told my father next day to write 2 essays under these 2, take to my tutor. I didn't tell all what I did in the night. And then my father went to the tutor, and tutor was wondering, has he not studied everything? Is he focusing on those few things? And the tutor wrote 2 essays. When I went to the exam other day, when the papers were given, all over the world they are sitting at the same time, or something like that, or it's sealed. To see those essay titles are there. So that was a time where I felt like the universe was in my hand. I didn't care about school, nothing. I am not interested in all these things. And this was like my first meditation. I got this, I was trying to get a world picture. Now again, I'm trying to tell that I didn't even come, from the orthodox or any, I had no idea Buddhism was somewhere outside. Then based on this, I had another experience, after 2 years I think, 16, 17, 18. I used to go for walks actually, I liked to go for walks, that habit was there. And while going on a walk, suddenly this, I don't know how to explain this, because I was very much thinking about time, and suddenly like a flash it came, like intuitively. anything that begins in time ends. Like, that's how I verbalized it, but it was a vision internally. And there I was like everything rushing. I do not see anything, like these buildings, everything seemed to annihilate. And then I came to my mind that this vision has no beginning, therefore there's no end. And then I saw a monk also in my mind's eye. And the monks are people who are trying to get this vision. And I should be such a person. They're just covering their last body, which is just going to disappear. And this is where I really finally made the real decision mentally. And from that time to now, this journey. So, so that evening I told my father I want to be a monk. Now, before that experience, I was to come to Princeton. That's a funny thing, right? To study astrophysics. Because I thought that's the way I could keep myself occupied. But after this experience, I used to see like this. The longest time that, what will survive longest? Einstein is gone already, and he's dead and gone. And even if I get a degree from there, that will be gone, and I will also be gone. What will remain more, the professors or the building? Those granite buildings? They have that granite, right? Or this very solid building that will remain for some, at least not some more, 100 maybe years. They will not. I saw those buildings like jelly with this experience. So what to say about any other thing? I had no desire whatsoever to come to or do anything. So even this trip, I will come to this now. But anyway, it took me 10 years from there to my father, and I had to sort of still go. He wanted me to finish a degree. So anyway, I met my teacher by that time. The teacher, this great Thero, or the Mahanayaka, who founded this, he was like close to my grandma's. That was our temple where my grandparents used to go. So in that temple there was another German monk, Kanyana Vimala Thero. He was ascetic monk. You see, I became like him finally. In a small way, I would say. It's like a big giant for me still. And so he used to come on arms round to my grandma's house. And after this turn in my mind, when I came to Sri Lanka, she was telling this, there's this nice monk who comes, I would like you to meet like that. So anyway, I met him, and he was the one who really inspired me. A lot of stories how I met him is also very interesting. And then he directed me to the direct suttas of the Buddha, not to rely on any other teacher. And when I was going through the suttas, I was also it was for me also very practical, not just like some kind of intellectual thing. And whenever I read one sutta, I used to apply it. So the first one was Mahahasthipadoppana Sutta. This was like Thariputta, Maharatan was it. He explains the 5 elements and things. I will come to that slowly. So that practice that I used to do, I used to just watch through that sort of picture, use it in my day-to-day activity. So anyway, then I met him, he inspired me a lot, and he gave me the structure for this. Now, what I had as a vision, and this, what comes from the practice from this, was all like sort of nicely fitting together. And then, anyway, I had to go back to college, my father, this thing, so it's a long story. So my life went on. I want to come to a point quickly. So many speeches now, so quickly. I'm a yogi, I'm not like a discourse monk going from here to there. So they're also now experiencing all delay because I have to keep my meditation going. Otherwise I will have a long face, I must be more happier than you, otherwise how can I come and deliver this? So there's a certain practice I have to keep on doing. It's like being in the gym. If you don't go into the gym regularly, you'll get a big stomach and all flesh. But this is also same. This is not a big stomach, you get a long face. This is what happens. And you are having so much negativity. So anyway, so after I Then I became, after when I was around, I met him again. I was in the forest with him. It's called Island Hermitage, with my teacher when I was 23. It was also very life-turning because this great founder, the Mahanayaka, was very instrumental for me too, because I had obstacles going to the island. Now when you pursue these spiritual paths, I don't know, in my case, maybe it's common to others also, things don't just come to your lap. You'll have to make a fight for it. And when you know it's really good for you, then you must make a resolve, only death can stop me. So many obstacles could come to, to go to that. So you must know something, that means there's something really good ahead. Then you must be patient and really pursue that slowly. So this same thing happened. I was, like my teacher invited me to come and stay in the forest there. But some others, they like thought I was a young boy and just, they had no much. Of course, they saw me outside with jeans and t-shirt, and that time when I was 23. Then, so my teacher said, no, he's a very interesting person, with a lot of compassion and wisdom. So he looked at me and said, there may be karma behind it. And I just worshipped him and went. But that place was owned by this, it was under this Mahanayaka Thero. So of course I know him as a family, so I just went to him and told Bhante, he immediately called someone, got a letter written, and that he said, I didn't explain so much. He said, please allow him, give all support for him to learn under this German monk. So anyway, I took that letter, and that was the best retreat I had with him. There certain things is to deeply explain regarding consciousness and how rebirth stops, how this is really happening. With the suttas, what it's leading to, the vision that is leading to, the purpose of it. I don't want to give you an intellectual thing immediately now, but this, when I was purified in that atmosphere of I would say, detoxifying myself from conceptualizing, and then going to plain seeing the facts, then there's an experience with the suttas, the skandha especially, and there, you see, that Buddha always tell, when you see my Dhamma, you see me. That seeing is important. It's not a physical seeing. It's actually you lose doubt. You see the spiritual part of him, not the fleshly. He would have been handsome and nice too, but the real aspect, what made him the Buddha, that universal realization that it comes through some kind of universal experience in you also of certain principle. So that time, it came to my mind also that all the Buddhism that we are practicing today is a kind of a perverted, because of our defilements, we have sort of interpreted through that, and it's not actually the so pure, the real one. It's so simple but profound. I will demonstrate it a little bit later. That it is simple but it's profound. In its approach, in its methodology, it's very simple. Even a small child could understand. But its experience is deep. It goes to the infinite zone, we call it, of consciousness. So anyway, so my teacher there, that experience was very crucial for me. It still echoes in my system. And then I stayed, then I still have to go back. I didn't have good karma to stay continuously with him. So when I was 28, I became a monk. I'm going very fast, okay, my biography. And then after that, because I'm coming, I want this particular thing to be told. This is one part. I feel boring to repeat again and again, but there's a part I want you to know. So I've been going to forest actually, two places, Himalayas and forest, these two. Sri Lanka, the national parks, and when he was alive also, my both teachers, I used to go. And when he's alive, I also was cutting across LTT, the terrorist area. There's a wandering monk. So my teacher, the German teacher was a wandering monk. He saw the danger of having monastery and even pupils, and of owning these things, like the olden time. So it resonated with me so much. His way of practice. So he was leaving that to the end, and I was his attendant to the last part when he was unable. So I learned a lot from how he dealt with old age and decay and all that. It was so inspiring. It was really, I would like one day to be like that. So anyway, after that particular period, I was ordained, then 28, stayed with him. Then I started to go with his permission to forest, and as a wandering monk also. So there are a lot of experience I had with bears and snakes also, but I see whether there is occasion to tell time to time. I never told sometimes in this trip, because I got bored with older, seriously telling I'm trying to get new ones. And then finally, then I happened to go to Himalayas. I used to go to Himalayas as a lay person also, before monk, about 24, 25. Always like the Badrinath, the Rishikesh Badri. And so from 2009, I started to go to Kailash, Mansarovar. Have you heard of Kailash, Mount Kailash? In Tibet, Western Tibet. So there are reasons for this. Many people ask me why I'm going so much to Himalayas or Kailash. I also think why sometimes, but I got the answer one time that I think I'm trying to retrieve my spiritual treasure from there. Some things I feel I've done in the past, I want to, because I have a dream about this monk's life. I don't want to do this just preaching only. I just want to make you one day faint. Give you a shock through this. So it needs some power, some energy. So this is behind. After this only I have been pursuing this for a long period, and especially going to the Himalayas. So what happened to me, 2009 I went, and always you have this high altitude it is. So 2014, I faced this altitude sickness, till I faced a near-death experience. So this I have seen before also, some people almost dying and recovering. And we all get it, we have to acclimatize slowly, it takes time, but suddenly, things could get really bad also. So 2014, I had this, where I was all blue and all that, and I was breathless, and I was all on the way, going trekking, we call it Kora, around the mountain. And my guide and the driver, both only they were there. They can't carry me or anything. What can you do? But I just made it. Then we came to Mansarovar, the Mansarovar lake. And there the night I was not sure how I'll make it. And then we have a practice with my teacher, which it helped me in some areas of jungle when I was all damaged with poisonous trees, and it was 2004. This technique of watching yourself, you see, is pain, because normally there becomes two pains. When you think pain is you, your ego makes the pain. Ego is like a catalyst, More the ego, the pain will get magnified or enlarged. So more you can, if you can separate it, you really see it. Is it you that is painful? But if it's you, you can really control it. You can say not to have pain, but something not having your control. For that we can tell easily, but it's important to watch what you're going through. And that you can see practically, immediately it makes you sort of, you not feel it. You don't give attention to it in a way, in the wrong way. So there's a practice where we watch. I will do that in the end of the program, because and before I was going to do that practice, one thought came, I couldn't share enough with the people. Now can't help it, because now I'm not sure I'll make it, I might die. So, but I couldn't give, because I was being a solitary monk for so many years, avoiding, because one thing was in my mind, I didn't want to teach anyone when I found any imperfection in me. I was invited to states as a young monk when, I don't know whether any of them are here. I got to know, they got to, you are there again. Your husband is there? He will come, eh? Okay. So actually this is funny how, because now through YouTube they got to know that was the monk, and now I'm here. So you know the reason? His husband told me, I was in India in one ashram. Husband asked me, Bhante, would you like to come to States to, I said, I'll come when I'm an arahant. You know what means arahant, right? Actually, I don't like the name, because in Sri Lanka it becomes a very big problem. I would like the effect, you should not have any greed or anger or any sense of self, or wrong sense of self. You'll have a right idea of self, how it is happening, how the conceptualizing takes place. I mean, I would say all the time when you're conscious. So if that is not happening all the time, I know I'm not attained that higher state. So I was serious about it. And so continued avoiding public society, trying to sort of make my life more, to keep the practice going. But I did come to public in 2012 in Sri Lanka. It was not by I was really also planning, I was expecting when I was 40 years old maybe I will attain this particular thing, but you can't sort of anticipate and it doesn't happen like that. It just comes out like a fruit, something, when the fruit comes out, you can't say when, which time, and which just has its own time. So that time when I was 2012, it was also like in Sri Lanka, I came from Himalayas, and there were like few cushions kept. I mean, this is how it happened. People used to come at 8 o'clock in the morning, and they used to go at 4 o'clock. They just sit and wait with me. I was wondering what's happening. So I just thought, then I thought if I do a meditation, how these people will get something, rather than just keep, like this, explaining and talking. So then I told the person who is looking after the temple, don't tell I'm not going to meet anyone. Please tell them that I will do a meditation after a few days, Saturday or something like that. So this Saturday came, I don't know from where these people were coming, just a line of people, all packed everywhere. This is how I came to the public. I didn't become Narahant, but I became known slowly. But it was mysterious also how this was happening. So it went on, I did 1, 2, 3 programs, again go to the jungle, like that, I was staying still like that. So then this happened in 2014 and 15. Then I decided to accept all this, 2015 also. Now I managed that 2014, I recovered means I managed to survive. And then 2015 also, I went again to Kailash. And there I faced the altitude sickness. It was like no return. Like going to a coma. So that same thought came, I couldn't give enough to the people, and just breath, I was losing, I couldn't lift my hand. Just like slowly becoming unconscious. So, but anyway, I cut short that. They managed to bring me to Kathmandu. But another thing happened. I then only realized that the demon, like when you're really coming closer to, there's something called demon that gives a full attack when you're really progressing. So there I had another experience which was not physical. This I can't tell anyone, only the senior monks I have told. It was like something that was trying to remove my robes, I will come close to that way. So there what I cherish, what I really really hold on to, this was like completely annihilated or destroyed. So immediately to survive, I have to I just have to hang on to something. Then it came to my mind, don't personalize it. Now that word was not proper, so I used an improper English word called don't equalize it. That in other words, don't solidify this. So it's a happening, it's a phenomenon. And it looks simple, but when I did like that, when I thought like that, I was able to go forward. And then I knew these challenges are faced by who are going on the path to enlightenment. The difference was the ones who really reached that, they managed to go on. They didn't hang on to that. And so this was the last one I had like that. It took me 3 months to recover, and it took me almost 6 months So some of the people, they used to see I was very bright before. I mean, something I look so, like physically also I look so different. It took, I exactly counted like 6 months, because all the people who are devotees, they would say, Bhante, you are good, very nice, everything. But only 1 or 2 people, they used to tell, Bhante, what happened to you? Because others are just blinded, they don't see anything. So I used to ask them after meditating, practicing, 1 month or 2 months later, then they said, still, Bhante, what happened? So they were like my mirror, mirror in the wall, who is the prettiest, something like that. So, but then after 3 months, they actually, he told me, okay, now you're okay, Bhante. So I can never forget that particular experience. So after that, only 2000, this year, I started from Australia, the invitation there, and then it went to the YouTube, and then it came here also. Then Europe, England, and then America. So I think, but there's something I must tell you in my life. I have something, understanding of karma, how it's working. So 3 years ago, I was in Rishikesh area, and there was this one monk, or what was it? I think you came for a very serious meditation, right? I'll come to that. When I was in the banks of Ganges, one was like a holy man, I don't know him, but he suddenly told me, Swamiji, when you're 45 years, you will have no time even to come to this area. But he was so true. I can see this age of mine, I have never been so busy. So many programs. I mean, so I did something. I was thinking of getting a return ticket also. I mean, I thought I'd bless America, enough I come to the airport and then go back. Because, but then I realized that, slowly I had to learn to, because I will explain now how to do work without feeling tired. It's important. How to make the practice in your day-to-day activities, not just when you come to monastery. This is my main topic, so that enlightenment is something while you are there, that you're creating the proper practice. It's not that you're a lot of work or you're in bad circumstance. You're not doing the right practice, right technique, because it's part of the brain that's not being used much. That is, so maybe I'll come quickly to that. But it's so boring for me to tell the topic again. Would you like something that you'd like me to explain here? I'll go on my stock explanations. Anything you'd like me to, maybe... You still don't know who I am or what it is you want to ask me. Is it?
Yes, Bhante, what do you mean by conceptualization?
I'll come to it. It's a very good one. To explain this. Now sometimes, the Buddhist teaching is very nice, it just frees you from suffering. Sometimes you worry about even past some trauma and things like that, things happen to your life, and really you can't sort of forget about it. You can, so the problem is you don't know the right way of putting your attention. If you can put the right attention to what you experience, when you recognize from the misunderstanding of it, you find it will just vaporize. So that is done by, that's why now we are caught up in this way of life where, it makes a big nightmare in our life because of wrong way of looking at it. If you have an enlightened mind, for example, say we are in a dream, when you get to know that we are in a dream, the whole thing changes. You don't enjoy anything pleasurable, you don't enjoy nightmares. So not to have nightmares, and because to have a pleasure and to have a nightmare after that is something, is in all to all, it is actually suffering, a nightmare. But if you have something, you wake up and you don't have a nightmare and all this, that is the real pleasure. This is the type of pleasure I'm going to talk about slowly. So the conceptualizing, I will come to it and I'll demonstrate something to show you that certain practice, very simple, where it will bring the vision for practical reason. to come to this, I must tell you, it must be very practical also. Now there was a time I had a very, I was left in Sri Lanka. Now you find my way of teaching will be my own experiences, and someone told me, Bhante, normally monks, they, sort of read the sutra and explain that. But in your case, you bring your personal experiences, and of course I bring the sutta in the end. My mission is actually, is not to explain a sutta, is to make you realize a sutta. This is my whole purpose. I have a vision, I want you to get to that, how to get that vision from the suttas. So as normally I have been talking about the ground, like what is blocking towards that in our modern days through computers and what happened today. Maybe I might touch those topics. I might have to. So you'll be surprised because because these are things that the groundwork I have been always now explaining, which will bring that vision to you. Otherwise just having that, and then you're practically not knowing what's going to stop you to have that. You'll be you go from talk to talk, from discourse to discourse. Nothing really happens in you. So one sutta I remember, when my teacher told me to go Hasmahasti-Padopana Sutta. It's about 5 elements, like the hardness here and the hardness here is like the same. Now those days they had no idea of electrons and things like that. So it is more finer description, it's a more perfect one, a finer one, but this is good enough. You take it in terms of nature. That this is just, you take the hard nature here and the hard nature which is in this space, your body. So normally which is having the bones or any other thing which predominates with that quality of being hard. When you take it as a nature, you don't get an idea of it's same. With this only thing, the idea, because it's in this space, you get it is my hardness. It's me. Anyway, there's a way of looking at this, and you'll see then, if you really watch this, you'll break through the conceptualizing, and you will have like, you will have ear, you will not feel it's my ear, which is an illusion, which is not true. Because it's like in that space, because you're not properly paying attention, and you're seeing it in a very, we could say, unmindful way, that it makes you, because this has been conditioned for so many years, and so many, lives maybe, and then this makes you like habituated to name the person. If someone shouted at you, but when you see it's just a vibration, and then this is like the ear, which is not like, not my ear. If you perceive it, it's just, hard, and maybe little blood there, soft, and these things, if you take and have a picture of it, if someone shouts at you, you're not, you don't sort of get the perception of it. Now once it happened, now when I've been reading these things, I was left with an auntie who was in Sri Lanka, who was very hot-tempered. So I had to get pocket money from her, and then she took me to one of these, to see the tooth relic with the past. In Sri Lanka we have the exposition of the tooth of the Buddha. So without the line, she took me straight to this place. So those days I'm also a little bit, sometimes I get some intuitive feelings and I should just act upon that. So as a young boy, people found it very, very peculiar. So when I was in quiet moment, after we returned, I just got the thought I must go again to this tooth place, not with the pass, but with the line. So when I went to my auntie and said, and we came just yesterday or 2 days back, something like that, and she, because that time was terrorist problem in Sri Lanka and all that, she was very worried maybe, she just started scolding me, like this. And when she scolded like that, immediately, the sutta that I was thinking about, how the ear is not mine and the sounds are like that, I just was focused on that. And then she scolded and she saw nothing happen. So this was the first and the last time she scolded me. So I'm just trying to give you now, because this is important for you to get it. So I see some ladies, when I had the programs, they used to tell, one of them came and told me, Bhante, my husband was scolding me in the kitchen or somewhere, and then I was able to practice that. Of course I have practiced, so they should be able to practice too. So then if you do like, if you should be able to, some people like show they are not reacting, This, without that knowledge, you have to show only. But the inner irritation, that goes in form of vibration. And people feel it. So you are still impure inside you, you're pretending you're not angry. And that still creates this tension and the problem. They notice, people are very clever, they're like small saints, you know. Even your husband, they can notice slowly looking at you. Oh, that is, you know, it's angry inside. The vibration that goes. But if you really can do that, there is some power works. You know, they'll know and want to scold you hereafter. Whether it's in the working place, whether it's in some other place. But you really have to master this, looking at the world in an enlightened way, so that you don't name people, you don't sort of, you see the sort of phenomena happening. So this is something, I'm happy to talk about this subject, you know, because I think I have to be more like here, you know, I was like hibernating in some sort of no thinking mode for many years now, and when I was a young boy, I used to really bring out, it was very much, then when I went to more extreme of samadhi, part of practice, Himalayas, and now only again it's getting polished up. But I want to come to this topic slowly, so, but I will demonstrate something, how to this conceptualizing, but before that, I don't know how many young people are here. How many of you have gone to the YouTube, what I have also gone through, you have some English ones, right?
I saw the one in English when you were talking to the children.
Okay, in Australia, is it?
I'm not sure.
Okay. There are the ones few I want them to isolate the English ones, because in Sri Lanka, this was another problem with the people here. They're like I'm not telling the real Muslims, you know. You could say everywhere, not the real spiritual people are, you know, they are different. But who are not, their compassion now is like, we call it the brotherhood of the Muslims, like this. Same way we have like a brotherhood of the Buddhists, Sri Lankans. Sometimes I see that the compassion is limited to Sri Lanka. I mean, they're still so mentally, I mean, they don't get the feel that, you know, it should be. So I was always thinking to isolate these English ones separately and make it a, where, you know, explaining about, so that, well, I have to, so it should happen. I hope the angels will help me. Because I can't be so involved in sort of being an administrator. But I'm just telling, I wish someone had some little bit of the heart I'm feeling in my heart, in my mind. I feel I'm not from Sri Lanka. I feel, you know, that so sometimes with every community that I go, I hope I could, you know, I always thought when I come to America, I should meet more of the local people. Not Sri Lankans. But of course the organizers, they're also knowing only the Sri Lankan community. I understand this thing. But slowly, so I thought, after Australia, I thought slowly I have to make a footing and definitely to penetrate whoever, not only English, maybe could be sent to other languages. So that all, you know, the way to peace of mind and purification and these techniques and methods that all get availability. It's like some pizza, you know, that it goes to everywhere to get the taste of it. But it needs some destiny also, I see this. And it can't be sort of specially manipulated. It should come by a tremendous need by nature. Where the draw, you also must really have a deep wanting to be realized or to be enlightened. Then comes the support also from nature. So these both ways are there. So anyway, some of you have gone through. So I talk about normally where there's addictions, you know. Have you got? Did you get the point that I told about the addiction? Like sometimes suddenly you go in your life where you're coming for programs like this, or suddenly you go into like where your mind goes distracted. I like to come to your topic, you know, wait, I just cover this and come, okay? This part is fun for me, but this part is a duty for me. To just lay down some things if it might be helpful for some people. My devotees have made a big rope for me, so it's very tough. They just want me to get more fatter, I think. I don't know. Sri Lanka, they are so, I don't know, they're great people in a way. I want to polish them up and I want to break them out of this tradition, is the main thing, so that they can save themselves, especially to overcome attachment, clinging, and to make them yogis. This is my main goal. Otherwise, how to worship the Buddha actually, so that you don't get angry or irritated, or that comes because of greed somewhere. You just can't pretend you can't get angry. I tell many people now, say you don't, okay, some who are practicing also, they say I don't get angry. Then I ask, what about your child? Do you get, if you don't get angry with your children, that's quite a good achievement. Right? You must see, where you are not attached, you don't find irritation, but where there's attached expectation, there, you could know where you're really progressing. So, but there were people in the past, my great grandma and all these people, the children were dying there, they didn't even shed a tear. So there was a period where this practice was done very strongly, because the monks were doing it, it was going to the lay people, and this was there. Then it died down. Then we went to rituals, even my grandmother. Even here, I would say, I don't know how to tell the temple I was in Vajrarama, there. My grandma, for example, they were happy with the Katina Pinkama, the ritual, that part they're happy. My grandma also thought this is Atama Kusal or that like this, and then okay, now it's okay. But if I was like now here, I would say that if she doesn't watch TV and if she was free from, that she was not, getting irritated, she had tranquility, then she's safe in a certain way. So I wanted to tell her like that, but she passed away, of course. So we can't have everybody to, we can't give this to everybody. So this is the time, this kind of journey that I'm doing now. It's like a kind of a small revolution, but I hope I can do it to revive the practice again. So normally I tell, in your life, in our life normally, we have something called, suddenly, we get distracted. Like suddenly we put ourselves into mud, and suddenly we do good things like this. When we get distracted and sort of go, that means some things we do hidden, we don't want anyone to know. When such a things are happening in our life, normally it is certain degree of greed, hate and delusion, that our mind is going through certain high pitch of emotion. So when these things are happening, there are sometimes the dimensions, not sometimes actually, corresponding dimensions which have the same frequency you get in contact with. So there are beings in those dimensions, they come to your consciousness. Now I'm telling this so that it becomes a little bit graphic, so in case this way of looking at it was helpful, in case some temptation or sometimes suddenly your mind is going, you can understand what, this is a very new approach. You've not heard, but it helped me also, it helped other people also. Suddenly you find you're going out of track, and this thing you must know that there are these influences from that you have got connected to these particular dimensions which are, you could say, lower. Because when there's greed, hate, delusion, so whenever you're sort of hiding yourself and doing certain things, your addictions and all that, and certain temptations, definitely these forces are behind you. So when you get when you know like that, it's like a vampire, it will be sucking your energy, spiritual energy. How much good you are doing, suddenly you are driven to these negative things. You must know there's a force influencing you like that. So when you know next time when the influence comes or the temptation, you can know that, no, I must not go to give in to this. I must go to keep away from this. So the second time, the third time, when you are able to do like that, those energies don't get any food, it gets no nourishment, so it will have to leave. And certain holes in your character get patched up. So when you do this very much, this is one way, because we have to face, we are not always in a suitable environment. We have to face very difficult, very tempting, very materialistic environment also. So in that situation you must know anything that makes you drain your energy a lot. This influence is there. So today especially, so when you can overcome, now today actually this opportunity is more there with the information technology, you could say the computers. You can find so many ways of addicting. Now normally before we had alcohol and things like that. And we know that it's the rush of dopamine, that the feel-good hormones that we get actually, the addiction comes to that, that the amount it is shot out. And this same amount is very well known that in computer games. Just suddenly, you'll be surprised by it or you're rewarded. And this kind of, this thing is sort of giving out the same amount of dopamine with the MRI scan is so interesting. So now this is this side, so there are so many other things, especially with the computers. Now computer is a technology, it's a neutral thing, I would say. It's not wrong with that, it's only that it is what it is used for. So if you are, but problem is we are using it, or we are exposed to the world as an unenlightened person. So still our mind is subject to temptation and distraction. So when we know like this, that we should be more, so to be aware, we can't say now no one should use computers, not possible. I mean, I'm as an old-fashioned monk, I would because for us certain visions came when we were cut away from all these distractions. With just a kerosene lamp and just the small text, few pages, this is how we got that. So we have today now, the monasteries have changed. Not the monasteries we went so many years ago. They have light and electricity and all that, but no enlightenment. Mostly it's light, no enlightenment. But those days no light, but there was a lot of enlightenment. Because of that you were able to go more inwardly. So anyway, this computer you have to be, this way you have to understand any temptation you have, you know that there's certain energy, certain negative thing that is driving you. And you can know from this because you get to do something negative or something draining your energy, you need two things. One is this invisible force, the other one is you have to justify it. Because you can't enjoy a sinful thing without, really sort of justifying yourself, it doesn't harm you. If you're convinced it harms you, you will not do it because you love yourself. So normally we put a wrong vision, wrong idea about it and then enjoy it. Maybe we take drinks, for example, thinking this is like good for our health or something, or once in a way wine or some other thing, or just to relax a bit, we have too much tension. So we give an idea to that and then that makes us easily enjoy this particular thing that is damaging us. So when we know like that, then we can keep away, my friend. 1 day, 2 days. When the temptation comes, we know 3 days, 1 week. And then the brain gets time to repair itself slowly. And when you do that, because these are indirect, you see many think that how to overcome stress and all that. These are stress and all other mental diseases. They are coming, the main thing is now you're losing a lot of energy. That energy must be, because when you indulge in a certain strong pressure which is connected with the reptilian brain, because definitely when that time the reptilian brain is working and we have this special part of the brain and that is actually not working at that time. That depends on the experience. If it's a strong experience, the reptilian brain is working very much and then the other one is working in a very minute way. So when you're having that experience, that particular, when you're keeping away from it, you're getting energy, my friends. And that creates a, slowly you'll be able to pick up on having more calmness in mind and tranquility. So when you get this little bit restful experience or your soul is healing for some time, after some time you'll find, which you'll never experience, certain levels of peacefulness, you'll be touching that. Now when that happens also, there's a change in your biology or physiology, your aura. And you will see a tangible change in your physical, you can notice that. Normally I would say that when you do that much, then there's something else created. When you have a calm mind, there's some hormones that are created when you're calm. Now these are not called hormones actually. You have it in the Ayurveda, it's called Ojas. Ojas Tejas.
Now this is a positive substance which normally goes to your brain and opens the area of brain which was not functioning before. And then they get deposited, and then that actually again creates that particular hormone or that feeling to meditate or practice or that calm feeling. So it's like interrelated, that material creates, like adrenaline also same. So when that happens, that's just like another cycle which you create in this way, which will remove the negative cycle that has been created for many years. So when that happens very much, you can see physically you will be changing. There will be a shine in your cheeks and forehead and the nose. So I normally tell, don't lose that shine. Then you don't have to apply, they have it here, I think, Nivea, you know? Nivea. You will have the natural charm. The other way, when you do, my friend, there are other things, you will look like a clown. Simple. You think you have a bath and everything is okay. That can't happen. If you want to be very ugly looking or you want to look very old, I mean, old is no problem, you know. If your heart is gold, you know, you will be having such a radiance, such a dignity. You know, that's how in the past there were many like that who had, you know, so much respect because they create personality. The other way, it destroys personality. Now I'm just I'm giving you the groundwork for any addictions if you have. My main job also. So which is going to, because these are great souls also who are caught up sometimes. Sometimes they have this dark side and then this like washing and putting to mud, washing and putting to mud. So if they remove that, they will be really great saints. They are saints actually, but certain things they have mistakes they are coming to learn here. So if that is removed, so to remove that only I give these particular small tips. So when you keep away, you can see the positive side. Other side, you become a clown, your personality is destroyed. I mean, you just have to tell something to get respect from people. Maybe you have to show a big car, big estate, big this, that, of the material, you know, very false thing to but the problem is, we are with like same level of aura, like we can't recognize each other because we are all in the same boat. So this is very important. When you keep away like that, then you come out, you have this positive side, you have this particular energy, and this will also reduce your stress level. Stress in your day-to-day life, because when you enjoy something, when you have something that is draining your energy, into your character, when you enjoy something, you lose a lot of energy. You need a lot of energy to go inside. That ability to go inside is that where you can't go inside, only you get this stress, because you are in the stressed area of your consciousness. So normally you have to go inside to tap that energy part of your consciousness. So now that happens in simple exercises. So it is very well taught by the Buddha in his original teaching. Now I'm coming to this topic slowly. That these are small techniques, now very well known now in the modern day. Being mindful, it really has a big effect on our, they're naming it as stress busters, right? Something like that. Okay, this is very, now they have made it so, it's so tangible, or very this thing to see when you pay attention just to your, touching your feet on the ground or what you are immediately feeling, that can relieve so much stress out of you. Beautiful. Correct, at least now, we are coming to real grounds. So this is one, Buddha gives 4 things that will relieve stress. Not stress actually, I don't want to put him down there. He tells you how to tap that super consciousness. That means full of energy, that is called samadhi. Get samadhi, the 4 factors which increase samadhi. But I don't want to leak out this information, because now they will know there are other 4 things, not only mindfulness, that will increase this stress-busting effect. Okay, now, but I will reveal it why. It's not something, it's there for to be done, but I hope no one will manipulate my ideas. It's not mine, but it's from the Buddha. But we are not seeing its relatedness to our immediate life. There are 4, he calls them, these are the way to attain samadhi actually. One is this particular paying attention to the moment. This is called iriyapate. Iriyapate means paying attention to the physical form, how it is, and the immediate experience from that.
So now, for example, when we are driving, who are some devotees who are taking me from program to program. So when they feel they get an opportunity to sort of get all the knowledge out, so they try to get me into conversation. They know that I don't want to. It's been well told that don't talk with Bhante while he's going. So they feel so tempted. They said, Bhante, can we speak a little bit with you? So what can I say? I will not say like a Hitler or something. No. I will say, okay, you can ask me anything. And then they used to ask me, sometimes certain. I remember one gentleman talking a lot about so many things. And then he asked this question, Bhante, how to practice while we are doing the work? Now I thought all the time telling won't do. I'm now going to demonstrate to him. So I told him, now you are driving, okay? Feel the steering wheel properly. You feel the leather, the covering. You feel it properly. And then now he was like the chair, the seat was like reclining. So we have in Sri Lanka, but he was staying erect. So in Sri Lanka we have like reclining chairs, which are comfortable chairs. So I told him in Sri Lanka language, this chair, Hansiputra, you think of this reclining chair, you will just relax and just think you are in front of a beach or park or somewhere. But of course, look at the road. Okay? So just hold this particular steering wheel and feel it properly, and just feel it, and then feel the seat touching your back. But he was quiet after I said this. Then I knew he got that peaceful feeling, that energizing feeling. Slowly the energy was lost. I don't think he ever practiced this. And he was quiet all the way. So I just stopped talking also. I knew he's now experiencing it. And to the end of the journey, he was telling, Bhante, I wish, you always with me, next to me, to remind you. This is a simple practice. Just paying attention to what you're immediately feeling. When you're walking the steps you're taking. Say you're going to catch a train or something, you know the compartment, okay, you have to look for that. After that you pay attention from here to that moment of walking, you go moment of noticing the stepping. So like this, if you're driving now, so what happens when you're paying attention like that? You touch the energy part of your consciousness that is filled with equanimity. Now samadhi, the science of concentrated mind is equanimous feeling. You're not bored, you're not happy, you're not sad. This is super happiness. You touch that part of the brain, which is, normally, this is like, in the Christian tradition, they also recognize it as something like coming close to God in a way. Because you're not really, you're involved with the world, but you're not involved with the greed and hate and irritation. You're actually having one feeling of equanimity, upeksha. So now they were telling me, very nice, I was like becoming good driving lessons, I think I was giving. Some of them who were picking me up, he said, Bhante, I have been practicing that. I didn't feel the journey. Correct. You lose the sense of, time, boredom. Your time passed so fast. I mean, because you are in a higher level of consciousness. You're touching a higher level of consciousness. You will not have stress. Stress will be foreign to you after that. And this will never, it can't arise, it can't happen, because this is one practice, it's called iriyapate of the practice. So if you go to the toilet, if you're washing yourself, feeling the water, touching your hands, like that, immediate experience of this particular, the feeling of this particular, whatever you are doing, if you're, especially with water, the water you're touching, or even any activity you're doing, just immediately, what you can immediately feel, you pay attention to that. You don't try to analyze or do anything, just paying attention to that. And then it will gather energy, and you find you come to a certain mental stress level, certain sort of, you don't feel tired, you feel happy with that. This is one practice. Other one is called Indriya Samvara. Now this is something, this is also to a stress buster, I would call it, or to stop or reduce your monkey mind. Your monkey mind is also a big problem, right? So how to do this is called, you screen what you see and hear to the senses.
Now this is a very, very important practice for a meditator who wants to really develop deeper tranquility. It's like when you have to go, when he's dealing day-to-day activity, say you're crossing a street or crossing a road, you see the vehicles going carefully, but you don't see who is inside the vehicle. This is important to sort of choose what you're seeing. Say you're passing some few people in the pedestrian or where you're walking, okay, a sidewalk, but you don't notice who they are. For example, you can look at my eyes now. I will look at you like that, I'm seeing you, right? But now I'm looking also. Do I look focused now? Now do I look focused? Do I look focused now? Now, right now? Really look, I'm looking at you. Do I look focused now? Now do I look focused? Hmm? No or yes? No, really look and say, don't sort of try like what is this, multiple choices. Now do I look focused?
No.
Huh? Now I look focused, okay? Now?
No.
What? I must hear one sound.
No.
No, okay, yeah. This is a practice you have to train. Like, for example, so I'm giving a demonstration, okay? One day you'll have to know. So if you're going, you know what to take. You don't take something, the information, the color, the form, but you have to watch to just take the information that you don't knock on that person. Okay, this is some practice will help you. This is like the one focusing for the moment, what you're going, what to the senses what you're giving. So if you have something really exciting, you can see the damage, how much damage is happening. So it starts with food also. Food, and now this looks hard practice. I think when I'm talking like this, I always remember one of the organizers, said, Bhante, you better tone down this thing because they are full of. I said, my life is a commando life and I'm coming to the commando teaching. In a way, I have no other thing to give. But this will help you to remove stress and everything just like this immediately. Because I found in what is this place, Australia. Of course I deliver this, but people are prepared, they can do it. We must not underestimate them. It's only they should be given that possibility. I'm sure they can rise up with, you're giving them guns, but you give them bravery and energy, definitely they manage to do this. So when in one of the programs, the husband of one lady, he was like the cell phone and allowing the program to be heard far away. He was having so many disorders like hysteria. I don't know, so many, what was she telling? Hypertension and all this. So anyway, was listening at a certain time, she said that something happened to her. She just disappeared. And then she wanted to pay respect. She came to me and said, Bhante, this is what happened, I was listening, and then all these certain things I was happening mentally, it was all gone. And now also there's my supervisor waiting for me to, I am going there, and normally when I'm going for such a situation, I'm getting gastritis and all these things, but now I don't have. So there is this, if you really practically see, now for example, even the food, for example, okay? Say the food is touching your tongue. When it's touching, only you get the feeling of this is chocolate, this is ice cream, and so on. So we have known from the Buddha's teaching, Buddha explains how there is consciousness, right? But you recognize that what is consciousness means in that when you're conscious of something, you have a feeling and a perception of it. And you react. These are all happening. These are called the factors of a consciousness. So when you have tongue, when the object is touching, then only the consciousness comes. Tongue consciousness. And there you have with this ice cream or something, chocolate or something, you recognize that is perception. So that comes, but when that stuff is no more munching, that consciousness is no more, isn't it? But all the while we get the idea, this is, when you're feeling like that, with the feeling only you get a sense of I in it. You don't get a sense of eye to an empty thing. You get a sense of when you are having these activities, you associate with that and get, this is me, I am feeling it. Okay, but if it's really me, when it is finished, I also should be dying. We have always small, you could say, deaths every time. In every experience of us. You are born and dying again. So that's why these are all not real. What's real can't be dying like that. So, in this tongue, when you notice like that, you begin to see the illusionary nature when food is touching only, this experience is coming. And when no more touching, and you are munching a muck, isn't it? Do you like to see someone eating? I mean, opening their mouth and, sort of maybe something falling off a little bit and eating that. Do you like? That's the real picture. It happens in your own mouth. But you're living in a fantasy with the feeling. You're thinking that, so this meditation, what it does is it shows you. And when you can really do like that, what are the things that happen to you? You see the unreal nature of other things also. Even family. Like father, mother, children. These are perceptions. For like a body to a piece of flesh, somebody it sees that this is my daughter. For another it's the wife. For another it is. So how can it be different to different people? That means it's not really the thing what it shows. This is where we begin to see the illusionary nature of consciousness. So this, when you actually practically perceive that, this is going to reduce your strong solidifying or feeling real about what is unreal. And then you will not have stress. You will not have, you find that suddenly, this is what happened. These people, they practice, because I demonstrate to them even taking food in the midst of them, how to take food. And then I try to show this how not to taste the food, because they want to take the camera away. In Australia only I did this. They thought, okay, Bhante now needs to have privacy. I said, no, you have the camera now. Because this is the time for you to, I must demonstrate to you that you taste now, you don't really, so that's a big brave action. We don't want to, we just want to enjoy the food and be in ignorance. But do we have strength to really watch this and come out of it, and immediately you can be enlightened also. And then after that, there's such a state of awareness, a mind. So anyway, this I happen to do, and these people are losing stress. So I'm not telling not to get engaged in worldly activities, but knowing it's a dream, when you work, then you don't have nightmares. You feel happy, you do the work without the negative side of life. You'll be a happy person, real happy person. So another thing, I'll come to this conceptualizing. I'm very happy with this. Now, again it comes to my mind about, now I don't know why I run back to, there was this occasion where, I must explain this also quickly. There's like, I had an experience with like someone like a rishi who had some mental power, who used to sort of, able to like, behind you there are certain invisible beings that come. I mean, you might not know about it sometimes, but from what you are doing you can know also. You feel suddenly to go to Las Vegas, surely there's a very special invisible being. Las Vegas, right? That's a place, I think, close to, I don't know, Nevada? Or?
Yeah, Nevada.
Okay, right. So there are a lot of, so if you get this driving force, this is something you must know. So there was this particular person who was like who had a mental power. He was able to bring these spirits into the body, and the person is unconscious that time, and someone else is talking. I don't know if you're familiar in this part of the world. Have you? Okay, so I don't know, because I studied many things and see how it's connected. I am not, you can see I didn't come from a tradition, so I'm not sort of, I would bring any facts and try to understand what the Buddha has told. So in this situation, he used to bring this thing, and there are people who had a lot of problems, they used to come to him. And there was one boy who the parents were very worried, he's not studying, he's going to parties, and sort of he's not, so when the mother brought him, I saw this what happened. Suddenly this boy became unconscious. He sort of used his certain mental, and someone else was talking. He was asked, who is this person? That some spirit, some name, he said. And then he said, when did you come? And he was 13 years old. to this body. How did you come? He said something like, when he was playing games. I was surprised. Now for me, I had no idea what these computers, what is happening there. But I got to know later, like for example, you say when you wish compassion and have positive thoughts, we know a positive consciousness is created. So when we think negative, kill, fight, or something, definitely something lower consciousness gets activated. So I can understand, now it's logical for me. So this particular, through games. Another place the spirit says, this is what came to the body, through Facebook. Now I only know the name Facebook. You might know better what it is. So you can only know if your mind is some way becoming corrupt or want to do something, definitely this thing is influencing you. Now I'm telling you now, yesterday they were telling in Sri Lanka there's a lot of belief about this invisible spirits and things like that. I'm not a kind of a ghost story monk. Okay, I'm telling you so that when only, not to imagine all the time there are ghosts, that is also very paranoid. I'm only telling you so that, you get frightened, you get spooked out when you're getting tempted to do something wrong. So this did help in Melbourne. I understood one gentleman. He was like, he said, Bante, he just waited for a talk, and in the city, Melbourne city, he suddenly felt distracted to do something. Then he remembered, Bante told that there's this ghost behind this kind of urge, and then it made him not to do it. So then I thought I must tell this ghost story time to time, because these are true, I did witness that. And then the other way, very interesting from the MRI scan, when dopamine is secreted in the games. So same with alcohol, I know for the smell of alcohol, spirits come. Like in India, I was going and they were dropping me to the airport. And one gentleman, I thought I should share something with him, and I said, when you drink, a lot of negative spirits come to you, like Bhut Pret, they have a name, like demons come to you. Then he said, Swamiji, he was telling me, Swamiji, no, I don't drink at all, but once a month I have one beer, he said. Then I said, you have a baby demon. Yes, so small things also. Actually, whenever you find you're addicted or attracted, you can understand from, that idea. And if you want to really improve yourself, you can see. So this is one thing I want to cover. Now I want to go back to the conceptualizing, I hope. Now if you can come out of all this. Now, the other thing is, when you go to the past, now if you have the idea to know exactly who you are, what this particular sense of I is very important. Now you can see that the sense of I comes with associating a feeling. Now say your legs, for example, sometimes it becomes numb when you sit for some way. And when the blood is not flowing, you find that there's no feeling there. If you didn't see from your eyes, you would think even there's no leg there, right? So you can see how it comes from feeling, wrong attention, the idea of self, idea comes with the feeling. Now even the tasting of food, those things also, you can see, if you observe like that those feelings came and went, you will not get this particular. The gentleman have to go, just 1 minute, I just bless you, just wait, relax your body. I must tell you, in the end I will do something, but anyone have to go quickly, just wait for 2 seconds. Have a peaceful time, okay? So, the thing is, my program goes to 1, 2 hours, 3 hours, like this. I try to. So it's an energy. Now I am not those days like a wandering monk, so now I am wandering with my speeches. This energy has to go somewhere, right? So
But this group looks very different, you know. I think you all are in a different. Just in Italy, I met in the program. It's like they were taken to gallows. I was seeing, it took me 1 hour to get a smile out of them, you know. But I realized their condition. I was really touched. I was really happy just coming for that group. I was so happy. And it took time, and then of course they would experience that happiness without any particular. It's up to you how you activate that happy part of your brain. You may be in the worst of situations, but if you're not, you may be in the best of situations, but if you're not open that happy part, you'll not feel happiness. Because there's a part in the brain, I think that's the lacking, not that you're out of work, or that because you're unfortunate not really getting that practice into your system. If you got that, you will be, you'll have that constant, at least a smile, at least a smile. I call the mad people madman smile. That means without a reason. You have this thing for no reason, because of the purity inside. When you are impure inside, you will complain. You get impure by wrong attention and misunderstanding. So I will come to this understanding thing. Normally, if you have a crisis or something, say for example, someone scolded you. Okay, you remember a name of somebody. Maybe John, Tom, Dick, or Harry, somebody. Okay, you realize, you feel somebody scolded you and you were scolded. So now, who is this you? If you look at it, it was something you experienced through your eyes, eye consciousness. With the eye, you saw something, and then that consciousness is in what? You are not unconscious, that memories of something you saw. So what you saw means you recognize that, means you saw this John or whoever person, is a perception. You had eye and you had an experience, there was a feeling and you perceived it, you named it as John, and then you reacted, he scolded you, so you upset, that is already a reaction. So if you see that this and that experience came and it went, it's finished. If you can go back to the experience, so I thought it me, is there a me that can come and go? So if you really go back and see, there was never a you there, never a person. And when you look like that it came and went, then the misunderstanding you had about it should fall off. It's like looking into a sort of well, a dog. It sees its reflection inside. It thinks there's another, like it comes out and thinks there's another dog inside. Or it barks, but it looks back again there. Same way of a consciousness. Now what you're experiencing immediately, it is all what is real. But it's also relative reality, I must tell you that. Even now it's not real, but leave it for some time. But the past is really not real, and the future is also really not real, and also now, for the moment, is a little bit real. Okay, so this, if you can, so you have to focus. You have to check that. It's not you run away from a situation. You look what you experience and put what the Buddha has told, and remind yourself through that. He says that this is a moment of consciousness. What is consciousness? It has these particular stages. So when you can do like that, this is like a projector, the screen, a picture falls into that. And normally the screen itself is just empty. But the picture that comes, these are mainly from the 5 senses. We have all this where the trouble and the pain is created. But when we know that the empty part of the brain, mind or the consciousness, that's with equanimity normally, that's the empty screen. So normally the strong ego identification comes with the movies in the screen. Because it has more pictures and things like that. So, but with the screen also you get an idea of self. This normally happens to spiritual people. But then the Buddha explains even that aspect, how it is happening, to even feelings of equanimity, feelings of peace. So this is a final step from the Buddha's teaching. So, but in practice, when you can see like that, if any crisis you went through, when you see that it was not really you there, and it was just, you had to go back to it and really sort of study that, you will just drop it off.
and that you will be free from any, you don't have the idea of trauma and all that, you don't use these words. It won't be there for you. So this is one way, and you just begin to experience that just observer mind. That more, that relaxed, tense-free mind, and you gather energy and nothing negative starts to build up in your system. So even if you have gone through tortures and all that, nothing, they will just fall off. Because the idea, it was illusion of a self that was experiencing that. So this is one. Now the other one is, the Buddha explains how the conceptualizing takes place. For this I need a scissor. Do you have a scissor? I was surprised when I started this in these programs. Every time there's a scissor, and somebody else. Because I thought I had been in a barber shop today. So for this actually, just an idea. The simple thing, now Buddha, in the sutras, he tells in very simple form. In the past, when they were cutting the hair, the monks became enlightened. Now what is wrong with us? We are going to the barber so many times. Nothing happening to us. So there's something wrong here. The thing is that the minds of those monks at that time, they were spiritually so ripe. Today, now to become ripe only, I was telling all these things about addictions, this, that, not to get tired in your work, and to build up that purity, the standard of purity, standard of tranquility, so that you don't, it's not something wrong with the words, the translation, we blame all that, no. Or that he needs more explanation and things like that. Because of the unripeness of our consciousness, it doesn't get that spark experience, intuition. So if you have some patience and humility, we will perfect those ground level things, and meanwhile you can try, no problem. But don't read those texts, those original teachings, and just sort of go into, sort of think that maybe that, I have to sort of read more somewhere, find out. No, my friends, they are very clear. They are like signposts. Only thing, there's a vision to get got from that. Because the experience cannot be told. It is only the signpost, the destination cannot be told. It has to be only experience. So the Buddha is only telling the directions. So that is, that's why it looks so simple. But if you have tranquility, I will just show you that, little bit how you open up that contemplative mind slowly, slowly. So these are called Yoniso Manasikara. Now, the thing is, if you want to really go to enlightenment, best thing is, maybe you must listen to my YouTube clips very much. Because maybe, you will get a clear way, isn't it? But how do you know I'm enlightened? Who knows? Maybe little shining, who knows, I would have applied Nivea and came. How do we know? How can any monk coming and sitting down here and we can follow him completely? We don't know. So the thing is, there's one particular guide we know, it's the master. The master is not just the statue, it's teachings, at least a translation of that. It's like a journey, we need a true guide for us. It's not that we are looking for a guru, that is some karma we have, we meet some good people, okay? If we don't meet even, we still have, if he's a real guru, he will direct you to your real GPS. Yeah, because you need a GPS, right? For this also. You know what means GPS, right? Yeah. Guru Position System, isn't it? So the teachings are like a map. But unfortunately, people become so scholarly also about the teachings. So this is something so practical and something you have to actually realize. So what you do, normally the teachings, my teacher, actually he taught me, that's why it was now, I don't miss him, not this teacher was from the background, but who really trained me was another, that's a German Bhante. So where he actually, he would not explain the suttas very much. So actually I see that if someone explains a lot the suttas, that means he has not understood. He would point to just go through this, that. I mean, because explanation, there's something to be known, realized, just by that explanation is enough as it is. You don't need more or less. So, so when you take the sutta, you must now, I will tell you, I would recommend one book for your Word of the Buddha by Gnanaloka, Thero. This is a small book under the Four Noble Truths. You have it's a good handy book for the beginning and to the end. Now there are places where there's how to break the conceptualizing, that parts are put into those areas, but directly from the Buddha. Now there's one part about the elements, about the hard nature, soft nature, this nature, how, like the hard nature here and the hard nature I was telling is just the nature, or the blood that is flowing in you and the blood in the tap is fluidity. So that fluidity there or here, but you have to silently picture it in the mind. That is where you are awakening. Now I'm coming to your serious meditation. Can you do that? So you have to be in that space for a while. And if you're really in that space, you'll be noticing your physical function. That means breathing, inhaling, exhaling. You'll be noticing that. And in that restful state, you really see what he's saying. Heart here, heart there is same. Fluid in the blood and the fluidity of the tap. This, you be thinking like that, okay? This, when you look actually, you get a sense of no self, no person there. If you got, now you don't imagine the no self, you will be getting an awareness of your own, because he's not trying to imagine. Now we are in an imagining state. Now normally we are in an imagining state, now we are bringing to seeing the reality state. That's why it's called Evam Passan Yatha Bhuta. You see things as they are. So actually you are breaking, we have Michael Jackson, what's he famous for? Creating illusions, right? The moonwalk and all that. Now the monks, it's a different type of Michael Jackson. They break the illusions. That's the beauty. They sort of show plainly what is this wisdom. So, to show one aspect, I need somebody, I need some donation, hair donation. Okay? You want to? No, wait. It's okay. You can take a rest for that. Sorry? I will take somebody's. Anyone wants to give their hair for me? Sorry? What about one gentleman over there? Don't worry, I will not disturb your style. Someone, no? Anyone would like to come and just give me a little bit of your hair? It's okay? Okay. Thank you. This must be kept in the museum as a mark of, there was a demonstration of something. I don't want to tell now because I want to get from the practice. Can you come here? Just, you have a nice type, but I'll make sure only crows see where. How much you feel like, you feel this is like your hair? Mm-hmm. This is you, right? Really you.
Yeah.
Now, how do you feel this part of the hair?
Yeah.
Do you feel still you or
no?
No. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So, just imagine, just one moment, you are so honest and clear, so it's easy. So, one moment you feel it's mine, and then you can immediately, it's not yours. So this scissor should be there's a meditation where you cut from, that is the eye of wisdom, really separate this. So, in reality, this was always not yours actually. Because it was in this space, you get a sense of I. So this is something in the suttas when you read, you begin to, you see this application. You begin to, that is the purpose of it. It's an exercise where you actually see what is really you. And when you go the way, the simple thinking that Buddha takes you, it makes you to, for you to know yourself, this is something else. I all the time think it was me. And then that will sort of remove so much chunks of suffering. So, but this has to be, it's a simple thing. So it has to be awakened. So when you're reading, just rest a bit. Apply. Not all the parts, the story parts, no. I'm telling where he explains these things regarding them. They are meditation objects. That is the clear, these are the meditation objects for your meditation to be self-realized. So if you happen to exercise this very much in day-to-day activity, you'll be seeing the world through another angle where you don't get attached. You don't get attached to an empty thing that is passing by you. You don't get angry with an empty thing also. So that these two are the things that are not happening. You don't get attached, you don't get angry. And the sense of I, which is the biggest illusion, is removed from the system. So when that is happening in state like this very much, your mind is freeing from so much, you could say the germs or so much defilements. And I heard today also very interesting, it's true that when you cure your mind like that, the whole world is created by a mind. You are not conscious of a mind without a mind. Atomic bomb is created by a mind. And someone to release it also is done by the mind. And not only that, anything, pollution, what is this? What do you call that? Greenhouse effect, right? Yeah, all these things is done by the mind, collective mind. Certain actions coming out in the environment. Collective beings, they are what beings, what there is not just flesh, it is a states of consciousness, surely not good consciousness, negative consciousness. So nature has to react in certain way. So if you have this cooling effect and the vibrations that send out from that enlightened mind, that will be a big contribution to stop the wars or stop all these things. I was with entities, sometimes they worry the jungle that these people will come, and I tell who was there, no, let them come, no problem. I don't see them as LTTE. I just see them as, I see the karma in them, and this is a body that has been formed. And on the way, many times they also ask me, Bante, not Bante, they don't know the word Bante, they say Swamiji, Swami, what is, one time they asked me, will we get peace? Because they thought, one of the commanders, then I told him immediately, peace is inside, not outside. So he was expecting that I would say some package or something in the government. Because for me it was already there. I didn't see this was war zone that time. Of course, I'm in a certain way type of a mad person to go there with all this. They also would have thought, what is this happiness? He's going in front, passing the bunkers and all that. But of course, you see a different, you don't see from your eyes, you see something beyond your eyes, what is really going on. So, some idea how to remove the conceptualizing, even the glasses you're having, sometimes we say it's my glasses, okay, but really it's also not that much mine, But he was very good, he's correct. Immediately felt it's not you. Some say, little bit, I know, something they said, a little bit, like little bit mine or something, some say like that. Still they can't let go, it's mentally, psychologically, that's there, but, so that's too much, too much attachment. Immediately at least you can let go. I know some people I heard they commit suicide when they have to remove one tooth or something, right? It must be happening in this part, I don't know, I heard somewhere that they couldn't really sort of come to terms that one of my parts I was losing. So that's why sometimes, really who are so attached or connected to the body, then they go to plastic surgery like this, and it's just going on. Another point I remember, I don't want to touch that. What's the time now?
7 minutes after 5.
Sorry?
7 minutes after 5.
So,
How many? Now 2.5 hours or? Any question you like to ask? Yeah.
You said when you're conscious, when you cut your hair, when you were pulling his hair, he was conscious. But what if you have a cut and it hurts and it's still conscious?
Yes. Now you could say, but if your pain will be so much less if you feel the cut. The pain is not my pain. It's not me there. I know one young monk, very small monk, but bigger than you a bit. He was full of, like having fever one time. I was also a visiting monk there. And I heard that he was sick and not nice for me. I went and saw him because we don't have parents, nobody to look after us. We should go and see. So he saw me coming and he felt very respectful and like I said, wait, Venerable, what's wrong with you? He said, full of fever, Bhante. So knowing me that I'm a meditating monk, he was wanting to tell what he did. He said, Bhante, when I was a young monk, very young, they were teaching, about the the Satipatthana, the 4 objects of meditation by the Buddha, the Sutta. This master was teaching us how to watch the feelings and to see the feelings as not my feelings. So I remembered that time when I was full of fever, I told to myself and was thinking, this is not my feeling, this is not my feeling. And that started to reduce that sensation of, pain or difficulty. So, but at your age, I can't tell you to do anything because how old are you?
10.
Okay, at 9 I had a romantic feeling of being a monk for a few days. But at your age, I was a little super demon. My mother used to hit me, and teachers used to hit me. And my hero that time was Bruce Lee. Really, I'm not joking. And so I don't know, I don't want to tell, but maybe you're going to be a very special person, who have already that particular. Anyone, any other questions? Yes?
Bhante, when you were in Rishikesh,
Yes.
the altitude problem, then you became blue.
Rishikesh, no, it's a low altitude, no?
Low, oh, okay.
But it was in Kailash. In
Kailash.
Tibet.
Then what happened once you became blue?
I was imagining a vehicle to be there. It's not possible to imagine.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I was just going on, and luckily it was affecting my brain, like full of splitting headache. Then I was really thinking my parents have given me a body which is able to withstand, and so it was like I don't know how to explain. And so the guide and they were worried, all blue, like no flow of I don't know what. But I was strong physically, like I was able to walk. But I don't know, it was like I can't walk also, but I had that strength. And then I went to this Mansarovar, and the night time I was choking time to time. But still, I managed to overcome it. And gradually we were descending slowly, because that is the only medicine for that. But 2015, it was to the lungs. And then, I just couldn't even do slowly, you see. Strength. Not Rishikesh, no, Rishikesh is slower, but in Badrinath also I had one time, when I was a young person, but here was the severe. Maybe that's the thing that makes me come here, even if the Buddha comes and tells me now don't go to the countries, I'll be coming, because the last moment when I was facing death, I should not have that thought. I think I overdid, because I should have shared something, like when you're going to your PhD, you can share something with your masters. I didn't think like that, thinking too much perfectionism. So, sorry, is it okay? You answer?
Yes.
Is it? Yes.
Well, I was wondering if you could say a little bit more about the part of the brain that gets changed once you begin to practice intensively. Last year I had an experience where there was a radiating energy up the spine through the crown for 5 nights in a row.
Right.
I kept brahmacharya for 5
right.
years and
Okay.
keep the monastic precepts.
Right.
So,
Very good, yeah, I understand.
yes.
Yeah, that is with the samadhi part of the brain. That is that energy part. Now I'll be doing something also. I'll be activating that part a little bit. And this is very important. This is giving you strength. Now again, it's coming with brahmacharya. You see, because it's related with that. It's related with that. That is where these forces start to work. That part of the brain start to work. When you are engaged in these activities, it's the way is strengthened. I mean, I have no time to. But Swami Vivekananda, all you have heard, no? Swami Vivekananda.
I'm not sure.
No, huh? Like in Chicago, Vivekananda's son.
Yeah.
You know, how he, sort of. So he tells what was that power. He just told sisters and brothers of America. It was not a big explanation. That's how he became famous after that. He said that for 12 years he practiced brahmacharya. And that certain veil in the brain was taken away. Which we all have that. And then the super brain starts to work with knowledge and all the things inside there. So I also see that too. So this is one part, but this is also shows, these are all not coming by chance. You all are not doing this, I also told my organizers, these meetings, you don't have to worry too much also, because who I have to meet, we'll be meeting. Because there should be that natural evolutionary process of humanity. And then we meet, then it's okay, there will be that, no one can stop that. So you can't prematurely force someone to follow this or give that. So I believe that, whatever I have experienced, you all also could experience. It's not something, because this is a natural law that we are in this range, in this area of consciousness. It shows the same potentiality. So this particular energy you are telling, it was very much connected to this brahmacharya, and it's very much connected to samadhi, the energy consciousness that is more activated. Now that is one. That part is a special part of the brain, of course, not that reptilian brain. And that helps you to evolve and go very fast. So this is actually, you need energy for this. So this is the energy part of the journey, like petrol for your vehicle. Then the thing is, when you're in that state, normally your you could say the desire, the reptilian brain, temporarily doesn't work. It's not permanently not working. You come to the permanently cutting off or not working when you open up the wisdom part. You understand? The wisdom part touches the latent tendencies. Now, normally we may cut the other one, but the latent tendency is there. Sometimes that's why we have, we don't permanently stop getting angry. Permanently not being attached to, desires. So this will happen. So we need time to time to get that, sort of free ourselves and have the samadhi. But we must use it. It's like a sharpening a knife, where we have these insights into the illusionary nature of things. And when that happens, very special part of the brain starts to work. I would say it's, I don't know, which part, I don't know exactly, but it's something I would say, it really opens a very special area of nerves, I would say, in the brain. And that creates, so there are normally 5 things that are in the special brain. Okay, I will tell you that you may not know sometimes. One is faith, devotion. That open now, that is with the, you can resonate with that. Other one is effort, virya.
Yes.
And then other one is mindfulness, Sati. You know already this, and wisdom. Oh, you are like, who taught you all this? Someone taught you? And other one is wisdom. Wisdom is the main of the 5. And other one is samadhi. Okay? So these are the 5. Now Arahant, someone who is perfected, means he has developed these 5 to the optimum. Who has seen, glimpse, all this happens with the wisdom. Wisdom one is the main, these 4 support the wisdom. So the Arahant actually, who has glimpsed Nibbana, or who have had a touch of that immortal state with wisdom, the 5 becomes stable. The 5 faculties become stable, not that they are fully grown. They become stable. What means stable? The 5 other negative reptilian part of your brain of getting anger, sensual desire, irritation, nivaranas, they are under your control. So it's very interesting. Why? Very nice. I'm happy. It's easy for me now. You all have been so educated very much. So the nivaranas are the ones. That's why we say when you are not attained that, you go to a lower world of rebirth. Because why? What makes you go to lower birth? When if you get angry, irritated at the moment of dying. If you get sleepy mind or greedy mind, attachment to your husband, wife, children, if you get that thought, suddenly that is enough for you to go to a lower plane. So I am telling people, not just doing good deeds or anything. If you are really, you must get that degree of detachment. Not that you become a monk. You are not pressurized by the things. You are doing duty only. And if you do like that, if you are a husband, you become a super husband. If you are a wife, you become a super wife. If you are a child, you become a super child, because you are harmonizing with the situation, and you become more considerate, and you are enlightened, and you are not stressed out by anything, because you are living in a dream, knowing it's a dream. So that makes a big difference, and then you can perform. So this part, the wisdom part. So this is because they are stable, the 5 indriyas. So when they are done very often, it becomes bala, powers. And so you can see these are the balancing. Normally a monk's duty or a yogi's duty is to nourish these 5 daily in their practice. So the other 5 don't come. You don't if the other 5 come, you don't get excited with it also. It's like a visitor, you invite him. But then you slowly replace by some chanting, devotion, or some watching it, or doing some activity like that, tactfully. You can just stand up a little bit. No, not you. The one who is leaving, just 1 minute. You can just stand up there. 1 minute. Wait like that. I want to give you something from me, a small gift, okay? To take home. It's not easy these days. Doesn't look all rosy outside. But it will uplift the humanity to a higher consciousness, definitely. Have a peaceful night, okay? So the wisdom, when you get, especially the intuitive eye, when it's activated, so that only I was telling, you have to still calm the mind and then to activate that simple observations. And when it is done in a very repeated way, the vision, sort of intuitive flash kind of thing could happen. So you have to feel your instructions from the, actually they're not what I'm explaining or anything like that, because that is not enough, or anyone else, I would say. So if you can, that's because that needs some brainwashing also from our modern day of conditioning of ideas and interpretations, which is coming from more weaker minds. This is how I got to know when I was staying the first retreat with my teacher. When I had some glimpse from the original suttas, I thought this was the old Buddha, this is how I call it. And the one I have already studied, what I known was like a perversion of it. So, but I knew it needs some brainwashing in a positive way. And if you are conditioned by all this modern way of explaining things, you don't know originally. So I will little bit demonstrate to the end of the program, how when you're reading, how to apply, and end the program that way. Any other question? Is it okay? Is it answered? I would like to study very much more in detail how the brain is working, in those states of but very difficult to find people who are really experiencing that and put them into the MRI scan and all that. I would really like to, because what very interesting one I must tell you, because you all are very, I didn't tell that this particular, normally in the beginning I tell. Now Buddha has given for monks degrees of rule. One is called grave offense, level of grave offense and minor offense. Now grave offense level, the 4 are if you break, I have to destroy, for example, as a monk. But other 13, the first 2, other 13, there's a way of sort of purification and recovering from it. Now the interesting thing he has laid down to this particular rule section, it's regarding brahmacharya. Do you all know brahmacharya when I say the word? It's regarding celibacy, okay? I'm sorry, you must excuse me. You must tell if you don't understand something. Just lift your hand a little bit and I will not explain it. So it's regarding, so this in this rule section, the first two rules, now it is a kind of a, if you break that rule, you have to go to a peak level of that experience of sexual activity. Now I can't tell directly, it's not nice. So I'm just telling in the roundabout way. That point only breaks, and then the interesting thing is, in the MRI scan, when you're going through that experience, the reptilian brain is taking over the entire brain. So interesting. That means shutting down the other part completely. So just imagine, I was just thinking how the Buddha would have to lay down those categories of gravity, severity, to do that. I mean, it was so enlightening for me, for our protection. So that, so now this is very interesting, this particular part of it. Now we don't, in the modern day, those days, those levels of breaking those rules in the normal society was happening only in few people. After 20 years, only he even saw it in the Sangha, in his community. And then he laid down these rules, don't do this. But in the society also, it was very few. But today, it's difficult to find people who are not breaking. It has come to that degree. So now it's very interesting, even in the, now I'm going back to what I be telling in the end. I know something makes me, so I'm laying down all the aspects. So very interesting, in the West I got to know, and also in the, what is this, in West means all over here, in America and Europe, I got to know there are groups of people knowing the danger, the damage. I don't know how they are formed into a group, like you have vegan, or how do you pronounce that? Vegan. This is like a group that who are, bent to nature and things like that. Even this aspect, knowing the danger, they are keeping away. Now this is a challenge because some things you got addicted. So keeping away for 1 week, 90 days, like that they are going on, like that. So they're counting the days that they refrain from this. So now this is actually very interesting how they are, in the Christian traditions also, they knew this was the demon, the devil and so on. Which certain perversions in sexuality. So one of this actually, this group is called NoFap. I don't know whether you have NoFap. You never heard? NoFap. I mean, I hope you get to know when I'm in the airport, okay? But I want to enlighten especially the younger ones and even any other people. This entire group, NoFA, single P. So this is a kind of a perversion at which happens, no one told us, even us in school or anywhere. So some even who are doing social work and all that, doing meditation, no one has told them, even the age of 50, 60, 70. So these are modern days, this is like very strongly. So this is one thing, you must know it's like certain energy. In the beginning I told about how certain spirits come and all that, they are also connected with this. So, but it's funny, there's a group entirely in this western part who are really knowing the benefit of it and seeing the danger of it and keeping away and coming out of the modern, ways of getting addicted and going down the drain into, going to the animal levels of activity. That's very interesting. So this is some knowledge one must be awakened to. But I told you, then only you can get that more tranquil mind to get that more stronger experience of. So if you have lower ground foundation weak, your building also is going to be weak. If it's strong, solid, then it's going to be solid. And your experience, like when you're cutting the hair, you might see the next barber trip, you will come with robes, I guess. Okay. Any more questions? Now I think, time is slowly going. Any more questions?
She wants to.
Sorry? Yes?
I have another question, Dante. For lay people, what would you advise us to do since we have a family,
we have a business work,
Yeah.
you know, and we are, at least in our case, trying to purify our minds, you know, have no greed, no hatred, no delusions, and we try to meditate on a daily basis, but we would like to know if you could please advise us on how we can practice better. Do we need to give up the lay life in order to become enlightened?
To become enlightened, you must live a lay life. You must live a lay life. Now, many masters, they spend a lot of time as managers, directors, and then they master the practice. So that they are only because this nature has given you that situation. You don't run away. That is a lesson for you. You have to learn. There's something to be learned from that scenario. Whether it's from the office, whether you have to work in that suitable place, or some people, type of relations. I have no time to tell how it is coming with the consciousness, what you are experiencing outside, how it shows that what you have to develop inside you. It will take time if I explain how the mechanism works. So if you really know this, you will not run away. You will only go away if that situation is really bad to you, like it makes you lie or to steal, or then you make an alternative. Otherwise, you face any difficult situation and change your attitude, change the way you look at the situation. Change it in then you are sort of passing the exam of life. And then your soul gets evolved, then you get the next lesson like that. Otherwise, you run away, somewhere the lesson is waiting to come always. And then even, I should not tell this. So, this is important. So, if you can, maybe with your parents, with your bosses, with your husbands, wives, they said, especially with relationships, we must be very careful not to, you must be with them, don't disturb it. Like, you should make even how bad it is, you must be there. You have a lesson to learn from there, and if you just don't do that, it gets complicated, more karma, and more. So, even marriages, or, like in marriage, I say, it's like being a monk. You stick to one person, how boring that person is. That's a protection for you. You don't sort of go into other distractions and things like that. If you are not married, you must then stay a restrained life. Otherwise, it goes to perversion so much. So even marriage, I see, now these things are important to as a lay person, and even disturbing, you must be careful also with parents also. It's very important, people, elders like that, that you try to make them possibly happy, but not in the expense of breaking, something, like going against your conscience, that you don't do with anybody. But other things, that is important. And I have this famous story, actually, I don't know whether you heard about, there's a book written, How to Find a Perfect Husband. Do you know? Maybe it's out now in here, you can quickly go and get it. There's this, I don't know the bookstores here, but in Berlin, there was this gentleman who went to check this book out, and he could find it in the book. This thing, he asked the cashier, where is this book, How to Find a Perfect Wife, the other book, another 2 books. Then he has said, fiction section. Yeah, it is. That can never materialize. So if you have this wisdom, you stick to your first fiction book. You don't change to the other books. So this is also very important that and of course if someone leaves you, that's not in your control, but you have a lesson to learn from that situation. And if you do like that, you will really develop, you come closer to Nibbana, closer to that mental peace finally. You don't have to meditate to get mental peace. You do harmoniously in your activities, that will create, without closing eyes, you don't have regrets, remorse, that is the meditation, starting meditation. And the other one, loans and all that, these are the ones that also affect psychologically. You have to pay people, and if you promise people to pay, and maybe the laws make you okay, but you're conscious, that you have broken a word. You understand? This you have to check, because this affects you. Then the other one is to do your work without feeling tired. This you start today itself. you sleep a good night's sleep. You bring that cooling part of the brain, the practices, just before, with your activity. So this is, you have to master it today. It's not something because you have work or anything. This you learn to pay attention like driving time, and then you're walking, then when you're taking shower, feeling the water and all that, and then you already start. So you are becoming a monk inside you. And bringing the very ideas, time to time watching, looking at your husband or wife or child, the way these are elements. So you're enjoying that, make it an adventure. So because this is tough to do. We learn to. Now I know there's a couple. When the husband and wife, the wife died, the old, and he couldn't, really believe it. So he wanted to go to the mortuary and, really check the body, while really she didn't believe that the wife was dead. So when they were embalming, they're cutting the body and all that, and when they were taking all the inside, he was shocked. He was thinking, all these years, this is looking like rubber. All this year, I was thinking, I was really thinking this is my wife, and he was really thinking he was fooled by some kind of dummy. Then he thought, next birth if I'm born, I'm not going to get married. At least the thought is good, And this is, now I'm just giving an idea from a call. This is one gentleman who I met. So I'm just telling you that how better you see the dummy already all the time. It's an exercise of meditation, so that you're not surprised or shocked when things happen in life. And then you are a great light to the people also. This is the Buddhist meditation, when you have no pain during painful situations. That is real bliss. That is real something to master in life. When you are still having consciousness and strength of body and mind, you must master this before we die. Even how many degrees we got from Yale or Princeton or MIT, if it doesn't help you. Many ask me this question. Bhante, you go to the Himalayas, the jungle, what have you attained? This is a very common question from monks. I can't tell like that. How do I know? I don't have a Buddha also to confirm if I tell, or maybe I'm also wrong thinking I'm attained something. So this is also a wrong example to others also, sort of practice and think what I have attained. Am I so on? This naming process. But when I look back and I really think the practices I have done, I would look back, if I am going to face death, if someone is going to come now and say I'm going to shoot you, I don't think I have done anything better to face that situation. You understand? To face death, I think I have done the best thing to face death. And it's definitely going to come. And even now, especially because now I cannot say I didn't share enough with the people. I have done that also. That's for the main reason. That's your real guideline or like this thing to really focus. You have no regrets, no worries if you're going to die now. You don't want to say, I want some more days to, sort of correct some of my things. Any more? I don't know. So you get an idea, without getting tired, you learn to drive. This is the degree criteria. So sense control, this you can already start. So I gave you, this is explained in the middle length discourses. It's 1 or 2 pages only. He gives the way how to develop concentration. So one of them is to pay attention to your bodily movements when you're going to toilet, coming, when you're bending, you don't have all these imaginations in the toilet. So you train your mind. You watch the body and you pay attention, and you're then stress busting and energy boosting. Both ways, that you're energizing yourself, and so you have all the time to practice when you're having a bath. So if you need more time, start the time a little early, take a few minutes early. Don't miss this. Your quality of life will just increase in so many ways because your state of happiness will be higher. It can be seen. You take a photograph now, and after 1 week, 2 weeks of practice, you take another photograph. You can show definitely. You see, same. When we are, when the reptilian brain is working, we look most ugly. You see, when we get angry,
do we like to go for a photo shoot that time? No. Or when we are eating delightfully something, unmindfully, someone taking photograph. We don't like that. Of course, we might like when we are meditating. Same way, dying also. We don't like to die in such a state when we are calm and all this. So if you live calm most of the time, you are already preparing for the moment of death. The habit works, and also what you have already done most of the time, you will come to the moment of death. Leave alone death, you will live a pleasant life. Unexcited, there are so many tensions economically and all that, in this now current state. Let it be, you think always birds, Jesus used to tell birds how they live, you're looked after, you get that power, the connection to truth and nature. Then you don't need insurance policy. Now they are making insurance policy in this trip for me, I was telling who made insurance policy when I was going with LTT, the terrorists. My insurance policy was my rules, virtue. The story, I can't tell all, explain all that, what I did. The rules of the monks, following the Buddha, that was my confidence to face. I didn't fear of dying, or I didn't fear of facing them. No. So, this is something you must, when you shift to that, you will have, you will be looked after also. When you let go everything, you will begin to get everything. One thing I will tell you, because when you really do this, you will find tangible experiences. I will tell you one time. Now, when we are going arms round normally, we are supposed to wish others, bless the other people around. We are not supposed to think of anything. Because normally, when you are going to the pure state, you think something, it seems to come to you. So some funny thing in nature, like you don't want anything, and then you think of a little thing and it just comes to you. So if something happens, it happens like that. But we might have to try. Actually, miracles happen. Getting another topic also into my head. Don't want to. Maybe who knows? You see, okay, I will tell you. If you, for example, if you live in the present moment, unconcerned, unworried, stress-free, it will re-engineer your destiny. These are all new topics I'm explaining. Re-engineer. When you live in the present moment, but this because it's unnatural. Natural way to get excited and to be worried, and then your whatever anticipated problem will become double. I can't tell the story what happens to me, it's going to be long. I just want to give one point. In Paris, I got to know that one gentleman, he used to do the meditation, yoga and all that, and then leave the home. He used to tell, when he tried to get a car parking space, that one car moves and he knows that it happens like a coincidence. But when he neglects this practice and go, he sees that how there's a parking space, but when he comes, another car comes there. You will notice these things. He has noticed that. How the practice will materially also support you. It means nature will start to support you when you're harmonizing with nature. Because that is unnatural for you to be calm. And then miracles happen. When I'm telling this, certain things happen to me. I don't want to tell, it will be a little bit long story, but it's very practical in the office and things like that. So if you can really calm, you can feel the momentary experience and just have an idea, I have to do that there. But I'm not going to bring the thinking here. I will think about it at that time. Now in the morning also, sometimes morning, my very beautiful devotees, they tell sometimes, they were telling me like it's very cold Bante outside, I had to go. So I just tell them I have not gone out yet. I just want to give them some of my teachings, that why not to worry about it now. Because if you think now cold, and it will become icy cold there. This happens, it works with the mind. So you don't picture, imagine, and then you be in the moment and then you go. It's funny in the mind, when I'm walking a lot now sometimes the army also wonders how with bare feet, like will I not feel the heat in Sri Lanka, cold is the heat in the dry zone. So there's a way, I'm a super walker, I know how exactly, it's very interesting. You have suddenly, so hot road, and suddenly there's a cloud, and it makes a dark shadow. And it's funny, now I know I feel it's too hot for me, and then suddenly when I put my feet into the shadow, I don't
feel, it's like really cool. So I know it can't get cool subtly, so I can also see it's psychologically happening. It's telling my mind this is not burning, it's now like this thing, and it works with that. Then only the contact in the feet takes place. If you can really pay no attention, you will not get that experience at all. You need to have attention for consciousness to rise. But you really have to, really not, really keep away from it. So in your practice, this is important. If you have, that's why if you try to sort of stress reduce, your other activity will become all efficient. If your mom, a wife, or a husband, whatever, you become perfect in that. It's not going to disturb your work, it's going to enhance your work. The other thing, you will think that you have to settle those work and then you get peace of mind. This is another wrong way around, You get peace of mind and then peace of mind is always there. You have to tap that source and that peace should flow to your work. Because if you have a wrong idea to think that, when this is settled, I am going to, that means, settled means you are going behind desires, and when you accomplish your desire, you think, you are going to be happy. But more you pursue the desire, that goes to another, and the desire increases more. When the desirelessness comes, immediately if it comes, you tap that tranquil. That means, it's a thought. Thought has to be there for the desire to come. When you don't give the thought, and when you focus to the moment, say now you have to drop your children or something. But now you have to do it, and you must think you have to do it punctually and all that. But you are now in the car, the thinking won't take you fast. So what you do there, you just pay attention to the hole in the steering wheel, and this thing, and just this is the thought, this is not my concern. Now I have done what is possible. Why should I, you talk to yourself, and let me touch this and just accept it. Let me accept being late. Because then I will not be late to Nibbana. Okay. So this you learn to slowly just feel it and then bring. And if you train like that, you are really growing inwardly. Any other question?
Quick question,
Yes.
So, how does the role of seclusion, going to an empty hut, play?
That is, you're going for surgery, higher surgery. Sounds important. But that surgery depends on how you were protecting your wound in now this practice. If you did good practice while you're a lay person, that solitude will be very good. But if you are lazy and waiting for solitude for practice, you'll be lazy in solitude also. So this is, they work both ways, and the solitary practice will strengthen your day-to-day practice. So that retreat is important, but retreat situation only you will get those deeper possibilities. I mean, personally, myself, I see it was only when I was really not rushing like this and all that, in this sound. But you should be able to practice in any circumstances. That is how you see your attachment. Your practice is where you see your disturbance come with attachment. Like in Buddha I was staying, and there's a lot of people, they were having sound, that one program, Tripitaka chanting. So this organizer thought, they always see that I am a forest monk. I mean, I'm not a forest monk also, I'm a solitary monk, I would call it. I don't know what to call. But I say many people have 3 names. Do you know my 3 names? Ven.Bambalapitiye Gnanaloka, something, Thero or something, right? But I have another 3 special names. Call it impermanence, suffering, no self. Come, Mr. No Self, right? So when you see bodies, you begin to see this is the name of everybody, every person. So there, I don't know, in Buddha Gaya, and you forget there, some of them, they have all sort of ideas. Yeah, like they sometimes feel my compassion, they think I'm wishing to become a Buddha. Now even now here also in this trip I'm getting people wishing me, senior monks also, may you become this, may they become that. Okay, I take it as something they give me this thing. So in Thai tradition there is always the monks are telling, a lot of them they have attained Arahant, and so they also name this monk. So one nun was confused. She was thinking, I think this Gnanaloka, he seems one time completely leaving everything and going, like practicing to Arahant. Another time, a lot of compassion, like becoming a Buddha one day. So she asked this question one day, Bhante, what are you practicing for? Is it to become a Buddha or to become an Arahant? Then I told her, I'm practicing to keep my head above water. This head, I mean, I didn't really think the real meaning of that, but it's really meaningful. Head is your mind, water is your defilements. And to keep your head above the defilements is a practice common for all of us. We are underwater now. So just to be in pure mind, that will make you Arahant, that will make you a Buddha. But you can, there's no choice for you, it's not an easy thing. We can't say now, maybe I choose to become this. You can't, it's even too difficult to become a good human being. Leave alone other things. So this is something I remember, these people, they used to ask. So in Buddha Gaya, one time I was there and there was this Tripitaka chanting. And there this lady, the organizers came to me and said, Bhante, so much sound, I hope it didn't disturb you. I told her, Madam, attachment to silence is the biggest sound. Detachment is the final silence. So anywhere you find you're attached to, there's an empty place in your brain where you should touch, where there's no clinging to anything. So you can check that anywhere you are attached to something or disturbed by something, you should check, what am I attached to? So when you check like that, you will always see the fault is coming from you, not from outside. And that way you can always, any knot point you can release it. Okay? So now I think, otherwise you want to stay until morning with me? Yes. That means you have taken my drugs, This happens, some of the young people, they whole night they listen to the YouTube. It's just that some energy maybe, but I will give you something now. All okay? Now time to digest, right? You have to digest what I said. But I really like to wish Washington DC here. It's a kind of a dream for me also. I was also noticing myself, I was looking at I was thinking, let me check, I'm in Washington DC, let me have a look at the buildings and all that. While I was going, it was coming. Then again I came to the meditation object. So one thing I know, of course I'm not an Arahant, but I am not looking at this, what is going on around, is for me same. I hope it will remain long. That what is this looking like, it's still in the sense objects. And I thought I must stick to that. I was reading through that, about the skandhas and all that, because some of the meditation I had to do while going in the vehicle, just to keep myself while coming to the program here. And so still I thought, should I look? No, it's just to be the same type of experience. And I'm sure if I go into the houses, there will be so much problems, difficulties of human nature, difficulty, suffering. So I can give some blessings and wishes for all of them. Yeah, funny, the first program somewhere when I was keeping, I was just picturing Donald Trump, your president. It came to my mind, I don't know why. And blessing the whole country from him, Yeah, really. I think this is a great place, and you must make America great again, right? And this should be great in quality challenge, ideas of free from hypocrisy. This is happening all over. In the name of that, but it will happen if you have a lot of desires and your thoughts are perverted by the desires, your perception. So if you purify yourself like that, you will, I can see in the name of Buddhism and even any type of national thing, even Sri Lanka or anywhere, because of the corruption of the mind inside, that is all, affecting the way the vision is happening. If you enlighten mind of real detachment and no ulterior motives and selflessness, that can come only who have understood the self. It can't be acted on, that will always happen. So the simple thing in the ancient time also, it should pervade in the people now, if you're going to help change other people, it must go into your system and it should make the atmosphere around you. That certain atmosphere created around you due to the energy inside you that will purify the whole, whoever comes in contact. So to do that, you have to change. Like I told you about one story about Vivekananda, another one, about someone who came to, you know, like one son, one child came to, the mother brought the child who was fat and addicted to sugar. Did I tell that? No, sir? Not here. I get confused on this program, that program, all programs mixed together. So this boy, you know, the mother came to the Swami, asked Swamiji, can you please, you know, he's eating a lot of sugar and he's fat, can you give him a mantra to overcome this habit, bad habit? Then he said, well, come after 10 days. So they came after 10 days. Then Swamiji told the boy, son, hereafter don't eat sugar. Then the mother said, Swamiji, what about the mantra? He said, no, this is my mantra for him now. And he said, why, you should have told that 10 days back. He said, well, 10 days ago I was eating sugar myself. Last 10 days I kept away from sugar. And there is some power in that. There's some power if you want to change the others. There's the secret. You want to change your husband, wife, children, all these things. You just observe that, you see that. You know, there's another question asked for me in Sri Lanka. Bante, why monks are not, you know, why there's so much we hear spiritual discourses and this, but people are not changing? This is a very famous question. So I didn't have the answer that time, you know. And later on when I was going, I did get the answer. When I got to know the reason why Dhamma is preaching, and there are some who do preach and people do change. Like Somahandru, it was like a Vivekananda in Sri Lanka. He was teaching people who were drinking, they were stopping, smoking, they were stopping. You know, they just had to stop. The reason is the people who are delivering, they are not pure themselves. If you're pure, there will be that mystical force will go. And that will make those beings change definitely. So you can know the effect of the medicine, you know, how it's created. It's a genuine one. So before the time you spend to correct yourself or to purify yourself is worth time. And that will, even if you live one day after that, you will make an impact on the world. It's certain words that has this power in it. This knowing that only some yogis, they spend months there and just tell, go to the temple, they just tell. People start going, they wonder why they are going also, they're just going. That power of this called ojas. The more ojas is created, more the controlling power, command power you have. But you use it to liberate people from wrong path and direct them. You become an influence. So I've seen families also doing this. So now I think we come most in 3 hours or more.
Close to 3 hours.
Close to 3 hours. Then the last part of the meditation. Okay, I think more questions, no? Enough, right? From the back, no? No. So now I will just demonstrate a little bit of some small meditation, okay? That you can do. These ropes are quite big for me, you know. But when I said meditation a bit, all of you change your postures, right? So all this time you are not meditating, is it? It's something you have to know, really, to always sit and, you know, in this thing way that you don't feel, you feel comfortable and relaxed. You're in a kind of a meditation. So that meditation becomes only one moment of sitting. No, it should not become like that. Yeah, sometimes you'll be closing eyes and waiting, and suddenly when you're catching the tram or something, and somebody does, or someone breaks the rules of traffic or something, you just move, you put the blame on that person. True, someone breaking the rule is bad,
but to see the bad of others is more bad. So this is we are breaking the rules of universal rules of peace and mind. So this you have to always watch. And like Jesus also said, don't judge others, that you be judged. Yeah, this is very important, this thing. So this practice, just when it should be done all the time, most of the time. So I told you can pay attention to the sounds that you're hearing now. Just pay attention to the sounds that you're hearing. When you're really paying attention, relax and like you thinking you're sitting in front of a beach or a park. When you're relaxing, you can hear a generator, right? You just try to really listen properly what you can hear. What can you hear? Sorry? Okay, another one. This clock, no? Clock. Don't go into deep meditation or anything. I'm just giving you a preliminary practice. Just try to focus on listening. You can even keep your eyes open, no problem. I want you to relax actually. This is something very basic I want to teach. And sit in a comfortable posture. If your legs are straight is better, or a nice comfortable way that you don't fall asleep. Any posture is okay without falling asleep. Even lying down, but you feel a little bit embarrassed to do it here. And pay attention to the sounds. And when you read, small baby coughing, generator. When you're relaxingly paying attention, you will notice a natural function in you. That your lungs moving up and down, that is breathing. It should not come consciously. When you're really paying attention, when you relax, you will notice yourself inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling. Your chest area expanding. This should be noticed naturally. Before that, you can open eyes now. You can open your eyes. Just strengthen your hand like this. Tight. And relax. Tension, tension. And relax. I'll do another one also. It's like we don't have just my fingers. Very vigorously, okay? For small children, it's very fun. Small at heart. Okay. Relax nicely. Now picture yourself seated or whatever posture, how you are seated, how certain cloth is dressed in your body. In my case, robes. Just watch myself like from outside. All the time relaxing, without breath relaxing. In breath. Like all the tension, let it go away. And look at yourself like from outside. Ven.Bambalapitiye. This is what you do when you relax like that. I told you your GPS, if you happen to read the original words of the Buddha, they are your guidance for thinking. So
So you think of like you're having a book beside you and you're reading, but I'm going to tell it in Pali language and then in English a little bit, like just contemplating that. So don't take any thing you have read before or studied or those things. Just plain, you begin to look at this phenomena, this body. Buddha says, Rupam Bhikkhave Anatta. He says, body is not yourself. Don't try to imagine why and all that. Let him explain. Now you're watching yourself, like from outside, relaxingly. Rupam Bhikkhave Anatta. Body is not yourself. Rupancha Hidam Bhikkhave Atta. Why is it not yourself? Abadaya. It is subjected to affliction. Now when he says affliction, whatever you know about the body, you must remember, think about it. You are a bit sick sometime, then you get old, and suddenly you don't want to, you get some disease, you have to die. Just think simply. These are the afflictions. Nabbeta charupe, evam me rupam hotu, evam me rupam mahusati. May the body be like this, may the body be not like that. It doesn't follow your orders. Not to get old. Not the word, you must mentally get the picture. Not to die. And if death comes now, you just can't say no. When you're watching life from outside, in a relaxed way, slowly to start with glimpses of the idea like another body. But if these glimpses become a vision, how peaceful. Will you worry when you're sick? Will you worry when you die? You will not think you are dying. So if this knowledge come to me, how peaceful I will be. This will be the true happiness. So just you wish for yourself this mental peace, this mental happiness, free from illusion. The same peace, this whole congregation here, these people seated, may they also experience this. They all like happiness. Not only them, like you're going in a helicopter. The neighbors here, in their houses, may they too get this. Entire Washington DC, including the president and all the people around him, may all of them get pervaded with this. And the Korean presidents also, their minds all get cooled down if they get this knowledge. Not only Washington DC, other states, like you're flying over, all the human beings, may they get this. North America, South America, Central America, Sri Lanka, India, like ants, so many human beings. Nepal, Tibet, China, and Russia, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran, Iraq, then Middle East, Syria, Mediterranean, Africa, Europe, like you're looking from space, then Australia, Taiwan, Japan,
human beings. May they come to this inner peace of separating from the illusions in our humanity. Not only human beings, the lower realms of animals, ghosts, goblins, any type of existence of lower, may they also get this peace of mind. Then the angels above, the higher dimensions, some of them they have less greed, less hate, and less delusion. May it completely vanish in them, like in the enlightened masters. Not only those beings, beyond that, who are really close to enlightenment, the sense of I, only it is left, may that also disappear and be completely free from any kind of heaviness, weight. Like you are looking from far away from space, from the lowest worlds to the highest worlds. May these beings, every sentient being, come to this peace of mind. Pray for my prayers. So I change it from contemplation to compassion meditation actually. You can keep on doing it if you like a little bit. I took from the Pali a little bit, then how to, now you can take a translation if you're reading a book regarding maybe elements, just apply it to yourself. Keep applying. If you're holding on to something, apply it until you let go or you just drop it off. You can do that. Generate so much detachment. All the illusions will be broken step by step. And the wisdom part of your brain will start to work. And you can wish that same happiness to other beings. Metta, Karuna. They're all helping for your brain to function more stronger. So I will give my final blessings. It's with Samadhi. This particular, but what I'm going to do now, a little bit, you have to, it's like, say in the mountains of Himalayas, certain beings, their energy there, they stayed in silence so long, and they have got certain energy based on silence going inside them. So whatever I'm going to do now is a bit, you have to, if you want to get full blessings in the night also it will work in your system. So if you keep silence, it's better. You can take dinner or something tonight, but if you can meditate and spend the rest of the day until tomorrow morning, so you can sleep of course, just you get some more blessings in the night also. So just if someone have any particular problem, you feel is still not solved or anything, you feel still maybe worry about it, you can slightly raise your hand so I can give some special blessings for that. So tonight, just try to be relaxed and absorb this energy. Can you stand up there? That's it. Mali, over here. No, the Israeli, the one with the red collar. Can you just stand up a little bit? Just relax your body, okay? Stand up and relax the body. And you also. Just relax your body, okay? Just relax, okay? A bit.
No.